when the growth look good on you, best believe they wanna screw now. I've been trying to climb, devil threw me in the dark. Baby, don't be insecure, you can still go make a mark like blow. Could never let them drain my soul now. Blow. Tables turning like doorknobs, wow. Blow. I think I'm about to set sail. I'm a walking, living legend, walking with my chest out. Life keep dealing me cards, I keep feeling it.
Yes, people, we are back. G, you know what time it is? You know what it is? We're back with another episode of my Liverpool summer realistic transfer targets. Guys, if you are new here, please make sure you smash that subscribe button if you do like the content that I am bringing you guys, and please make sure if you are returning to hit that like button and also share this out. Share this out. Now, obviously, like I said, just going to be going through the next coming weeks and months, just giving you guys my summer transfer targets, players that I think Liverpool should be looking at. And obviously, we previously looked at Gonzalo Ignacio from Sporting, left-sided centre-back, very, very good player I feel that, you know, Liverpool should definitely be in for. And today we are going to take a look at Dominik Szoboszlai, Hungarian international, very, very good player. He has been about and he's been doing his thing for quite a while, to be honest with you. I'd probably say the last, say like 3 seasons. Midfielder, can play on the left wing, can play right wing. You know what he reminds me of? And this is the player that I didn't want anyway. He reminds me of the type of guy where you're almost like, where does he play like a Mason Mount? Now, obviously, people are going to laugh, and I'm not saying that they're a similar type of player in that kind of mold in terms of their attributes, but their attributes are kind of similar, to be fair. But in terms of their overall general attributes, I'm more looking at it from a perspective of sometimes with Dominik, I'm like, where is your best position? But then is that just because of the manager maybe not being able to utilize you in your best position? Is it because you can play so many different positions to a very good level? Is that the reason why? But he is a name. Would I say Liverpool have been linked with him? Maybe in the last couple of days, couple of weeks, you could potentially say. I think there's more. I think there's a. Sometimes I feel when players get talked about and stuff like that, sometimes we mistake that for interest. It might not. Every good player that's out there, clubs are interested in, so to speak. Like, you've got a fleeting interest. It's like, oh yeah, you know what? If we could do a deal, then yeah, why not? Or what's his situation, kind of thing. Whether the club actually go for them or it's actually one of their main targets is obviously a whole different conversation. For example, pretty sure everyone on the planet would say they're interested in Haaland. Did you get on track? Like before he moved to Manchester City, or Kylian Mbappe, you know, or Jude Bellingham, or Pedri. You're interested, of course, in terms of that they have a liking to that type of player. But whether you're actually going to go for them is obviously 2 different things. And I feel like Szoboszlai, he kind of falls into that bracket. Currently playing for RB Leipzig. This season's played 44 times. That potentially would have changed by the end of the season. Again, recording this video before the last game of the season or European campaign. Played 44 times, got 9 goals and 13 assists. You know what? I think because Liverpool are so starved, when I see a midfielder that's just got so many goals and so many assists, it's like immediately I'm like, yo, we got to get this guy. You know, this guy is this, and he can do that, and all of these kind of various different things. And I think that's the silliness in me, because we are so starved of actually having a midfielder who can get you goals and assists. So obviously we are looking and potentially signing an Alexis McAllister. So it's like, okay, cool, boom, boom, boom. There's a guy who can get you goals. I mean, most of his goals, I believe, are not coming from open play. I feel like they're set pieces or penalties, but ultimately he's getting those. So that's what I would like for Liverpool to kind of have. And I think Szoboszlai falls into that kind of bracket of midfielder that I'm potentially looking at, or someone I feel the club should at least look at and see where they can potentially fit him in, to the team. Now, when you guys look at RB Leipzig and the way that they play and stuff like that, they do have a couple of formations that they kind of use. Now, this is Marco Rose's formations that he's kind of used this season the most. So he's got 4-2-3-1, 4-4-2, and 3-4-3. their style of play since Marco Rose kind of took over um, is kind of, would I say, they focus on the build up of things. Obviously, as you can see here, Rose places great emphasis on the double pivot during the build up, and I think that's quite important because a lot of these new and up and coming managers, De Zerbi obviously is being probably the main one, but even Mikel Arteta a little bit as well, and obviously Marco Rose. Those kind of managers, that's their kind of game, build up play. Whereas the elder generation of managers, I don't feel like they focus so much on that. It's more about the entire style of play. So when the ball does get into, I don't know, midfield or with the strikers or whatever kind of thing, I feel, not to say they don't have a level focus on that, but just I feel like these managers really do focus on that build up play because they need to get the ball from back to front. But it's not even necessarily about getting it from back to front so quickly. It's about getting it back to front efficiently. And I feel like that's what a lot of these new age managers are starting to kind of do. So it is quite interesting to see. And again, the reason why I'm showing this is just purely because I wanted people to kind of see the different type of styles and the different type of formations that a Leipzig would play. Would then that mean that a Szoboszlai can then come into a Liverpool team having been used to and being under such flexibility? And I mentioned this in the last summer transfer target when we're talking about Ignacio, and with Liverpool obviously wanting to play with this three at the back and Trent inverted and all that kind of crap. I think, and I'll keep saying it probably every single episode, there needs to be a level of flexibility. Without that flexibility, I'm telling you now, it just will not work, for Liverpool moving forward. So let's take a look obviously at the heat map of Szoboszlai. You can see here again left and the right hand side in those attacking positions. Obviously at the moment we've had Jordan Henderson kind of playing in that right attacking midfield role / right central midfield role for the last month of the season. I would, to be honest, even let's say we don't even dive into the stats of Szoboszlai, I would still prefer to have Szoboszlai in there, to be honest with you. I think he's an all-round better player in the attacking sense. Where Jordan Henderson might probably pip him is probably just things like defensively in transition. I think that the way that Szoboszlai kind of plays and the type of player that he is more attack focused. Not to say he can't do his defensive duties, but he is more attack focused, as I said, as you can see with the heat map there. But he is cultured. So could he be trained into learning the defensive side of the game? Remember, Liverpool's defensive side of the game, in terms of the way we press and try and counter press and stuff like that, is totally different to a lot of other teams. I actually think it's quite difficult. Hence the reason why you will see with some players, they just don't really acclimatize to that, very well. And we start to see different kind of results. You look at players, like Fabio Carvalho, just looks like a fish out of water. Now, that's not obviously totally his fault, but when you're looking at him, say a Darwin Núñez, players like this, they're finding it very difficult to acclimatize to the way that Liverpool play and the way that Jurgen Klopp wants them to play in terms of the press, in terms of when we're defending, in those transitions, and then on the counter attack and stuff like that. Physically, they've got those attributes to maybe play on a counter attack, but when we're then trying to defend, it's kind of a whole different ball game, which then makes it a little bit difficult for those kind of players to just get used to it. They might get used to it. They might be able to just boom, like a bit like a Gakpo. You come in, bit shaky at first, but then you acclimatize to it a lot quicker than the others. Maybe it might just be a case of that. Who knows? We'll obviously see in the future. And as I said, this is obviously like the different positions that he's kind of taken up for RB Leipzig in that 22-23 season. So you can see in a 4-2-3-1 formation, he's on the right-hand side of the attacking three. Funny, Vardy got sent off that game. I found that kind of funny. But he's on the right-hand side of an attacking three. So again, playing in that position there. You can see here, 4-2-2-2. Many players there. Again, that right attacking midfield area, that is seemingly the position that he kind of wants to take up the most, if I'm being totally honest with you. This season, with all the games that he's kind of played, he's played 23 games as a right winger, 8 games as a right midfielder, 7 games as a left winger, 3 games as an attacking midfielder, and only 3 games as a central midfielder, which is crazy. And that's just obviously from this season in itself. So when I'm looking at that, I'm just like, I'm loving the versatility. And again, like I said, playing on that right-hand side, that kind of seems to be his thing. I mean, he's played more games as a right winger, to be fair. So could this almost be the type of player? And now I'm even thinking about it. Could this be the kind of player that maybe we also get in who can almost do the Harvey Elliott thing? Because obviously, when we're looking at, as you can see here, 3-4-3 formation, he's playing as the right winger. So just quickly, when I think about it now, and obviously as I'm, as I was doing like the research behind it, I was thinking to myself, maybe this could be a player. Again, I like the player himself because of the stuff that he can do anyway. But when I'm looking again at the stats here, and I'm looking at the sheer fact that he's played 23 games as a right winger, so predominantly this season, that's what he's actually been. He's only played 3 games as an attacking midfielder, right midfield. He's played 8 games. He can also play on the left wing as well. Crazy, because when he's played right midfield, he's played there only 8 times, but he's got 7 assists. That is very, very good. So I'm thinking, with the sheer fact that he's got the versatility to be able to play right wing and attacking midfield in this new formation that Liverpool want to play, does it not make sense to go for a player like this? Like, to me, it makes perfect sense, because you're trying to get Harvey Elliott. I feel that's what he wants Harvey Elliott to actually be, because Harvey Elliott originally is a right winger, but Harvey Elliott has played most of his game as the central midfielder, obviously, this season. So then I'm thinking, wouldn't you then just prefer to get a guy who can actually really do it to that kind of extreme? Also, with that as well, if you do want to give Mo Salah a rest, if you do, and you still want to keep a strong team, you can still play Szoboszlai there. You put someone else now in that right attacking midfield position, whoever that might be, whoever it is that we might potentially sign. And this is where it goes back to having that quality in depth, because maybe for a game or two, obviously Henderson is going to play. Let's not moan about it. For those who want to moan about it, blah blah blah. He's going to play some games, probably a fair few. He's the captain of the team, so I expect him to be playing some games, next season. So even if you are going to put Henderson in there, and you still got Szoboszlai out there, or if you are going to put Harvey Elliott in that kind of right central midfield position, or a right attacking midfield position, or you want to put Harvey Elliott on the right wing, and then you still got Szoboszlai in there. Again, this is what I'm talking about, having the flexibility to be able to do so, but getting the players in their rightful positions. There's no point you like having this experiment where you've got Harvey Elliott playing as a central midfielder, and he can't even really play, as a central midfielder kind of thing. And then, but he's more of a right winger, so he prefers to be out there. And then you're trying to chop and change, and just go out and get the players who could do the role that you want them to do. Like, I feel like it's just a simple thing, but we seem to overcomplicate it when we're looking at some of these players and trying to decide. You look at here, the 3-4-2-1 formation, again, that right attacking midfield position. So I'm looking at all of this, and I'm thinking to myself, this is when he's playing, I believe, for Hungary. I'm looking at all of this, and I'm thinking to myself, you know what? Szoboszlai, he's got the profile, in my opinion, to be able to play. He's 22 years of age, so he's still young enough. Now, obviously, we are looking. It's weird because the age of our squad is a problem, but I don't want to get to a situation where we've got this old squad and then all of a sudden we go from having a really old squad to just having some super, super young squad. Because personally, I don't really trust Jurgen Klopp with this kind of level when it comes to like young players, especially too many of them. He needs to have a blend and he needs to have a mix. But I feel like Szoboszlai, he's got the experience internationally and obviously at a high level playing Champions League football. Him and Curtis Jones, I believe they're the same age. So I'm looking at enough. And if you looked at it, if you just looked at the two players and you ask who's at a higher level, straight away you're saying Szoboszlai. Straight away. He's had way more experience at the top level than Curtis Jones. So straight off the rip, I'm already like, why not? Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, why not have him in there kind of thing? And again, unfortunately, this was the game that he obviously got sent off, playing in that same 3-4-2-1 formation, on that kind of right-hand side. And if we take a look at the type of guy he is, Szoboszlai is usually deployed in the center of the field, occasionally on the wide left side or in the number 10 role. His role is to constantly try and unlock defenses with killer balls and long-range passes. He tends to pass rather than shoot, which is the reason why his goal-scoring record is merely average at this stage of his career. Now, obviously, being originally a central midfielder at the heart of a team which prefers to press the opponent rather than sit back, one has to have a great work rate. That is one of Szoboszlai's best attributes. Again, this is what I'm saying. main game is obviously trying to assist and in the attacking third, but he can still do the defensive side of things. I'm not saying, again, they're saying obviously it's one of his best attributes, but obviously it's not his best attribute kind of thing. It's just one of, I guess, many that he's obviously got. Constantly running himself to the ground, both on and off the ball. A high work rate goes hand in hand with the trait that is commonly found in up and coming players. Do you get what I'm saying? So again, I'm looking at that and I'm thinking to myself, this is something that I feel can work to Liverpool's advantage moving into the new season. As I said, he's only 22 years of age. He's got the experience. He's played a lot of Champions League football, Hungarian international, playing for RB Leipzig, the way that they play. Let's go back to it again. The way that RB Leipzig want to play, that build-up, pressing from the front, being able to press all around the pitch because they obviously want to win the ball back as quickly as possible, but then having the kind of calmness and the composure to be able to still play when they need to play kind of thing. And they're not, they're not really a team who like to rush things too much. They've got a lot of technical players anyway within their team. Played 44 times this season. He's got 13 assists. He's got 9 goals. He's almost doing a double-double. Excuse me. He's almost doing, a double-double. So then you're just like, all right, cool. You know what? You're ticking a lot of the boxes. You're ticking a lot of the boxes. Now, on TransferMarkt, his valuation in itself is 40 million. So I don't know how much it would take to get someone like him in at the club. Obviously, Liverpool looking at this, or soon to be confirming the signing of the sporting director, Jon II. And where I'm hearing that we are looking at the German market. I don't know what positions in the German market. Maybe it's just an overall look. But when I'm thinking of that, again, he's in the Bundesliga alongside other players that we're obviously looking at. But he's in the Bundesliga. He's a player that Szoboszlai obviously knows about. So whether or not he thinks that this could be a player that, first of all, is obtainable, but secondly, first of all, is he a player that fits the team? That's obviously first and foremost, regardless of anything. But secondly, is he obtainable? I feel like he could be obtainable. I feel like, we should be, at most, the 40 million kind of bracket should be 40, 45 million. Again, I don't know what Leipzig kind of price him at, but I can't see why he isn't a player that, we're looking at, kind of thing. I do think we do like the player. I do think I wouldn't even say there's an interest at this current moment in time. At the timing of this video, today's date is the 25th of May that I'm filming this video. So I don't know if that then means that we're going to bid for him or we will have interest in him later on in the summer. But I really, really like the player. I think he does tick a lot of the boxes. As it says, he is a player that has got a high work rate. He is a player that both on and off the ball, he is going to kind of work. So why not be looking at someone like Szoboszlai? Yeah, I'm trying to say he's got that bit of charisma as well. Do you get what I'm trying to say? He is, I wouldn't call him a maverick or anything, but for me, he has got that kind of level of charisma. So again, very, very good player. I think alongside other players that we're obviously going to take a look at, I don't see why, he isn't a player that we're potentially looking at. His record anyway for Leipzig, played around 89 times, 19 goals, 22 assists. For Salzburg, 83 games, 26 goals, 34 assists. Again, assist is obviously his main thing, something that he enjoys doing for the team and something that Liverpool midfielders have lacked for years and years and years under Jurgen Klopp. Obviously, to be fair, it's worked for us anyway because we've not really required, to have any assists or goals from our midfield. The midfield is probably the only place in the team that you only require them to do the donkey work, so to speak, where they let Trent Alexander-Arnold, Andrew Robertson, Mo Salah, Sadio Mane, Roberto Firmino, they let these guys kind of do all of that flashy stuff. But now I think with the way that the way that we're moving and the way that football's going as well, that's another key thing for me. The way that football's going, I feel like almost every area of the pitch, even goalkeeper, needs to kind of contribute to the actual overall play of the team. The goalkeeper we're seeing from a lot of these teams. What Brighton, obviously one of my favorite teams to watch. What are we seeing from Brighton? One of the best playing teams, footballing teams in the league. Their goalkeeper is coming into play. The way that they draw the opponent in. The goalkeeper might have the ball, draw the opponent in, pick out the pass. They're good under pressure, very good under. You see Caicedo, very, very good under pressure. But then that opens up the space and the gaps in behind them. We're seeing that with Manchester City, and obviously we see that with teams like Arsenal. So we need all phases of the team to be able to help towards the build-up and help towards the overall game and the tactics and the style. So I think someone like Szoboszlai, for me, is definitely a player. He's one of my summer transfer targets. He's one of the players I think Liverpool should definitely be taking a look at. And I hope this ain't going to just fall on deaf ears. But, let's kind of wait and see. But guys, obviously that is the end of today's show. Dominik Szoboszlai of RB Leipzig. Hopefully Liverpool take a look at him in the summer. Let me know what you guys think in regards to him in a general sense. Is he a player that you guys like? Is he a player that you think we should even be looking at? Are there other better players out there? And what I mean by better is better value for money, and are they a better fit? Everyone wanted Mason Mount. He looks like he might be going to Manchester United. Thank God for that, to be honest with you, because I think Szoboszlai is a better player anyway. More cultured. I love using that word. I just feel like he's a lot more cultured than a Mason Mount. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Please make sure you like, please make sure you share, please make sure you subscribe. I'm G and I am outie.